in the back of my mind for quite a while, you know, the whole climate change debate. So I've always felt very strongly about it, and I've been watching very carefully what others have been doing. And for me, the urgency and the positivity.
What was supposed to be a day of laughter and family bonding at Windsor Castle ended in fury. Young Prince George, the future king, was shaken after being attacked by none other than Queen Camilla's grandson. What followed was a shocking and bold decision by Prince William that could reshape the royal family for years to come. But how did a simple children's squabble turn into a royal showdown? And has William just drawn a line that the monarchy cannot easily erase? Join us as we unravel how Prince William stripped the royal title from Camilla's grandson after he was caught bullying Prince George. Family bonding event. The palace is supposed to be a sanctuary of traditions, but on a certain quiet Sunday afternoon on Windsor's grounds, a long-standing tradition was broken in an unexpected way. The youngsters from two very different royal families were brought together for what some insiders described as a family bonding event. Prince George, the first son of Prince William and Princess Catherine of Wales, who was growing into his role as heir, was also present. This young heir was among the youngest attendees of the bonding event. It wasn't his first time. He had previously attended such gatherings, but always under the cautious eye of his mother, Princess Catherine. However, this time was not like before. A lot had changed. The event began as a regular fun encounter between cousins and step-cousins, but what no one noticed was how rapidly the atmosphere changed. In no time at all, the news spread throughout the palace. And what was this news? Prince George had been bullied. That may not sound shocking, but the problem was the perpetrator. The bully turned out to be none other than one of Camilla's grandsons. The boy in question is from Camilla's Parker Bowles heritage. Up until that time, he had not yet been named a royal. But of course, Camilla had been working tirelessly behind the scenes to increase the exposure for her family. Who wouldn't want their child to be named a royal anyway? Camilla fought for modest title affiliations, prestigious education, and even tiny ceremonial positions. Her efforts definitely did not escape the prying eyes of palace insiders, let alone members of the royal family. With time, some of them secretly complained about how desperate she was, calling her efforts overreaching. However, the vast majority remained silent. But that was only until Prince George arrived home in tears. It was at that point that things changed. Unsurprisingly, Kate was the first to notice the watery eyes and the stoop in her son's shoulders. When she demanded to know what had happened, George did not hesitate to explain in the most honest way a toddler can. He was teased, but teasing had been more than just personal. It had been deliberate.
Louis knew about the dances. I was just something to show him.
And it derided his role as the future King of England. It should be noted that while attending such events, there are certain rules that must be followed. For instance, while dining with the family, Prince George and other royal kids are learning all about etiquette rules to follow at the table. The kids are learning how to sit and eat at a table properly, how to attend formal events, and how to meet important people. Part of etiquette training even involves learning how to keep your voice at the right level and dressing appropriately for any given situation. Another important rule while dining in the king's presence is to never announce that you're going to the bathroom. If you have to get up to use the restroom, you just get up quietly and excuse yourself. Quietly leaving a room usually isn't one of the most kids' strengths, but these royal youngsters are more well-behaved than the average toddler. But is it really necessary for the royal kids to make such public appearances? Well, for the time being, the royal kids' main job is school, but like their parents, they still have obligations to attend certain events, ceremonies, and public appearances. It's all in a day's work as a royal. Luckily, despite the paparazzi that follow them around, the kids still get a bit of privacy at events. The public isn't allowed to ask for autographs or selfies, but a pleasant handshake is usually allowed though. But for this very event, the perpetrator went way overboard. According to palace insiders, a boy who had heard too many adult murmurs at home became nasty and mocked his habits, family, and even his late grandmother Diana. Kate was furious. William was devastated. Behind the royal gates, a line had been crossed. What happened was quick, silent, and explosive. Prince William made a choice that would have far-reaching consequences for royal history. Camilla's grandchild, who had been set to gain honorary status inside the monarchy, would be stripped of any future title consideration. No more discussion. There was no gentle integration into royal occasions, no second chances. The palace has declined to release a public comment. Internally, however, the walls are shaking. Camilla is thought to be outraged. Charles, split between his wife and his kid, has maintained a hands-off posture, which some feel says volumes. What about the public? They're monitoring every action and reading between the lines, because nothing is more important in a monarchy based on bloodline than preserving the next generation. And this time, Prince George was not simply shielded, he was avenged. But what really happened? The incident and aftermath. The trouble began by mid-afternoon. While the parents enjoyed tea under a marquee tent, the youngsters were encouraged to play together in a loosely supervised area of the gardens. It was merely a homemade football game, but it immediately became something else as words were exchanged. Then things escalated when Camilla's oldest grandchild began tormenting Prince George. First, he teased him over the game, and then it graduated to personal concerns. His voice rang out as he asked, "Why are you walking like that? Do you think you're better than everyone? Because of your silly crown." At this point, what may have been dismissed as juvenile taunting had now turned into something terrible. It was reported that the young prince, who had just turned 11, tried to flee but was pursued. Not only was he pursued, but he was mocked for his special training status as the chosen one. And according to one aide, who later briefed a senior staffer, George was even referred to as a mummy's boy, a sensitive trigger for a child. As anyone would expect, the matter almost turned physical, but before that happened, a personnel member moved quickly to separate the children. However, the damage had been done. George, who had usually maintained his composure in public, was shaken. The royals very quietly deployed a family bodyguard to remove him from the scene, avoiding media notice. When Catherine was informed that her son was already in tears in the car, the rest of the afternoon was filled with awkward smiles and forced conversations. Camilla, who presumably had no idea of the full gravity of what had transpired, or perhaps she knew,
having been lucky enough to meet some of our country's amazing charities and organizations,
but preferred not to acknowledge it. She continued her hosting responsibilities as if nothing happened. People close to Catherine's reported that she was stone-faced, her smiles were worn, and her grip on Charlotte's hand firmer than normal. When they returned to their private apartment, she wanted a complete accounting from George, and what she heard left her stunned. Apparently, the bullying was just as precise as it was intentional. It replicated full adult language and feelings. It merely points to the fact that Camilla's grandson was repeating what he'd heard at home. The question is, from whom? That was what shocked Kate the most. Not just the cruelty of youngsters, but the poison of adult prejudice handed down through whispers and glances. The matter was immediately brought to Prince William's notice. As George retired to bed early, red-eyed and withdrawn, William sat quietly alongside his wife. The pain on his face was not just for George. It was the familiar sting of history repeating itself. Except this time, he would not be mute. This time, there would be consequences. This time, he was determined to defend his son at any cost. The following morning, Kate declined all booked engagements. She stayed at home with George and Charlotte, canceling her meetings. That same morning, a message was delivered to Charles's private secretary. It was short and to the point. There has been an incident involving Prince George. The Prince and Princess of Wales have requested a private audience with His Majesty. As the next in line to the British throne, priority was given, and the meeting occurred within 24 hours. While King Charles reportedly expressed sympathy, Camilla merely dismissed the entire situation as childish squabbling. When asked if her grandson would be chastised, she laughed it off. "They're only children. They'll forget this in a week," she allegedly said. William's message was straightforward. Royal privilege is not inherited by proximity. It is acquired by respect, service, and most importantly, honor. When one aide tentatively asked if a private apology from Camilla's family would ease the situation, William answered brutally, according to him, his son did not require an apology. What he needed was adequate protection. He didn't stop there, though, subsequently taking an even harder stance. Not for birthdays, not on holidays. There would be no rehearsals for trooping the color. If George, Charlotte, or Louis were present, Camilla's grandson would not be. Obviously, this was not a negotiation. It was, instead, an ultimatum. The word immediately traveled across royal circles. Charles was surprised and reportedly paced his study in silence after learning of his son's decision. He had anticipated the situation would pass quietly. However, William, who was generally calm and cooperative, had drawn a line. And the most heartbreaking part was that he did not flinch. For William, this was more than just discipline. It was all about control, about conveying a message not just to Camilla, but to the entire institution. The days of burying disagreements in the name of unity had passed. The days of tolerating disrespect for Diana's legacy or his own children were over. He had been patient for years. However, as George became more visible in the public eye, William made it plain that he would serve as a shield, a lion, a father first, a future monarch second, and no child related to Camilla, no matter how close to the throne they may appear to be, would ever wear a royal title under his watch. For the Queen, this entire narrative feels unfair. In her eyes, she's being cast once again as the villain, the outsider, and this time, it's not by the press or the public, it's by the children. Camilla has a fear that she had privately admitted. She believes that she'll always be seen as the one who came after. And now, even in her quiet moments, Camilla knows one thing: the emotional bond she hoped to form with the future royals may never come. Even now, with the subtle accusation of her discreet attack on George, Camilla is reminded that whatever bond she has tried to forge with the royal family will only meet a stone wall. William, for one, would not allow anyone to bully his children, and that could be because of his own experience. While it may very well be true that in some ways, the royal family members lead very sheltered lives, but in other ways, they are quite similar to the rest of us. Bullying is a problem no matter who a person is, and the unfortunate reality is that even high-profile people such as Prince William have had to deal with it at some point. For William, George's tears reopened an old wound, one carved deep in his own childhood. History repeats itself. As we know, Prince William's life has basically been an open book since the day he was born. Everything surrounding his family somehow makes its way into the news, whether it is good or bad. Prince William, who went to a private school, was cruelly bullied at school because of incidents about Princess Diana. When Prince William was only 14, he felt the effects of one of Princess Diana's photographs in a cruel and hurtful way. According to Us Weekly, the young prince called his mother in tears, telling her that his classmates were teasing him after seeing topless photographs of Princess Diana that were taken while she was sunbathing in Spain. As if that weren't horrible enough, Prince William was bullied even further, according to a Vogue magazine publisher. His peers went on to say that Princess Diana's breasts were too small. As they say, history repeats itself, and this is exactly what happened. Many years later, a news outlet reports that the prince was once again angry when photographers were intrusive. They took pictures of his wife, Kate Middleton, sunbathing topless, as Prince William rubbed sunscreen on her back. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were devastated at the violation of their privacy, and luckily, they took action and filed a lawsuit as a result of what they had experienced. The royals know that as a famous family that is in the spotlight most of the time, people take a great interest in everything that they do. However, the fact remains that they are entitled to their private time and should not have to deal with bullying over any situation that they are in. Speaking at an anti-bullying event in London, William had to write down the names of people who he thought he could talk to if he was being picked on. He also said that his dad, Prince Charles, his brother Prince Harry, and his granddad, Prince Philip, would support him, and even though he was only allowed to put down 5 people, William added a 6th, his dog Lupo. Prince William was taking part in a session being run by the Diana Awards, an organization named after his mum. It has started a program to train children, staff, and parents how to recognize the signs of bullying and how they can help to put a stop to it. There are many instances where Prince William had to take decisions to protect his children against bullies. It leaves one asking whether his own children are always so well behaved. Well, the answer lies in how he raises his children. So, after everything William went through as a child, how does he ensure his own children grow up shielded from the same scars of bullying? The Welsh parenting styles. Prince William and Kate Middleton are raising 3 young children in the public eye, but as witnessed in the Princess of Wales's recent cancer update video, they're giving their kids as normal a childhood as possible. The kids play cards with their grandparents, Carol and Michael Middleton, climb a pile of logs with their parents, and enjoy a picnic in the video. And while they look like any family enjoying a late summer outing, George, Charlotte, and Louis certainly don't live average lives. Insiders say the Prince and Princess of Wales make their own rules when it comes to raising the future generation of royals. This means a more relaxed attitude to palace life mixed with the notion that the kids are, after all, members of the royal family. And while Prince George will be king one day, he's not immune to being told off by his mom, with one friend of the princess telling people, "When you see her behind closed doors with the children, she's a very confident mom, and she's no pushover." Part of the kids' more grounded upbringing includes their schooling. While King Charles was forced to attend boarding school in Scotland, William and Kate kept their kids close to home, sending them to the nearby Lambrook School, roughly a 15-minute drive from their Windsor home. As for Prince George's next move, it's highly possible he could follow in his father's footsteps and attend Eton College, which would check several boxes. Royal author Ingrid Seward told The Sun that the princess probably doesn't want him to go to boarding school at all, and it's possible that he won't. This statement came from Catherine's experience with her legacy project, Shaping Us, an early years initiative that focused on bringing greater public awareness to the importance of early childhood. This affected her positively, and its impact is seen in how she used a gentle parenting style, a stark contrast to her husband's upbringing. Catherine Middleton is also believed to have taken inspiration from her parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, replicating the warmth and happiness she experienced while growing up. In contrast, the royal family has historically been constrained by a lot of royal responsibilities, which tend to keep them away from their families. For instance, Queen Elizabeth II had so many responsibilities to attend to at age 25 that this made her absent from the lives of her young children. Similarly, Prince Charles and Princess Diana's turbulent marriage and divorce impacted their parenting styles and their ability to be present for their sons. Catherine, however, came from a different background, one that was filled with a happy childhood. Therefore, she broke these patterns. She used the controlled parenting style to raise her kids. This was a hands-on style of parenting that prioritizes a child's needs, with parents reacting to these needs and acting warmly towards their kids while also enforcing clear standards. From this, Catherine has gotten her parenting policy, which is no shouting, always listening to her children's complaints and tantrums, and letting them freely express themselves. Catherine's steady commitment to her family was evident during her pregnancies. In 2015, while pregnant with Charlotte, she asked for a full maternity leave alongside several demands that were met with the support of both Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles. In 2018, after giving birth to Prince Louis, Catherine insisted on taking another maternity break, further emphasizing her commitment to her family. But that's not all.
Fit those bits. It's so weird when they get bigger to think that they were that tiny.
Reports also have it that Princess Catherine declined to have servants to care for the children permanently. Instead, she made the home like a normal home, where the children were involved in daily activities such as laying the table, clearing their plates when they finished eating, and tidying up with no preferential treatment for anyone. Williams wholeheartedly supports Catherine's parenting style, as he stated in his book, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, that he is determined not to replicate his father's parenting style. He has also openly spoken against his parents' work-first approach, which impacted him negatively as he and his brother felt sidelined by their father's absence. The Prince William is very committed to giving his children happy, love-filled childhood memories, ones that are different from his own. Although, over the years, the relationship between Prince William's and his father has improved as they've grown closer, particularly after Harry's departure from the royal family and the UK. Princess Charlotte is growing up to be a fine young royal with grace and confidence, thanks to her parents, who have ensured she thrives in a balanced and loving environment. Williams is still determined to raise his children with a focus on family first and not duty first, and that's why he stood up against Camilla. But what's Queen Camilla's place in all this? The secret feud. To talk about Queen Camilla and Kate Middleton is to talk about the two women with the most influence within the British crown. While it is true that there are clear differences between them that have divided the UK, Camilla represents the most protocol-driven present of the institution, and Kate, the future, a future that, for many, is more than promising. But there's a sort of tension between these royal generations. Does Camilla have a beef with Kate? Why? It can't be called a beef per se, but the tension is palpable even with the neutral closeness with which they relate. One day, King Charles's crown will pass on to Prince William. That day could be soon or several years away. But with the recent happenings at Buckingham Palace, it's probably more likely to be soon. And so, William and Kate must prepare, just as Charles and Camilla spent many decades doing. An inside source is opening up about how Camilla has stepped up into the role of queen, a role that she is not eager to relinquish. Apparently, she loves her responsibilities. A source dished that her whole life, she has always wanted to be queen, and maybe now that she has what she has always wanted, Camilla doesn't want to let it go so fast. According to the report, Camilla feels particularly hesitant to pass on her duties to Kate. Obviously, the princess who is married to the eldest prince will almost inevitably become queen and inherit Camilla's crown, and that would be the end of the road for the queen's consort. So, it won't be completely out of place if she really is hesitant about it. Kate has always been known for her temperament and exquisite manners. It is almost impossible to catch her breaking protocol or creating an uncomfortable situation for the British royal family. In the case of Queen Camilla, the story is quite different. She had already started in the institution, facing strong criticism for her relationship with King Charles. The British found it hard to accept her, and even as queen, there are still those who don't like her as their representative. With Kate, it's the complete opposite, as she has always enjoyed the affection of England.
Having been lucky enough to meet some of our country's amazing charities and organisations.
In fact, in the latest popularity poll, Kate far surpasses Queen Camilla, who must settle for the last spots. This huge difference between them could have caused the first tensions. Theories suggest that Queen Camilla feels jealous of Kate and how she has won everyone's affection despite having a lower rank. Although Camilla holds the title of queen, several media outlets say that Kate is more appreciated in certain parts of the public. Middleton represents youth, modern style, and approachability, attributes that are widely discussed on social media and in the press. Queen Camilla and Kate Middleton had an awkward moment during the U.S. state visit, during which the Queen seemingly shooed her daughter-in-law away from her. According to multiple outlets, including Us Weekly and Page 6, and a video of the moment, Camilla subtly waved her hand, indicating that she wanted Kate to move away from her, and First Lady Melania Trump and the princess obliged. The royals haven't issued a statement explaining the moment, but the video is pretty awkward. Now, half of England is outraged by the latest gesture Camilla has had toward Kate Middleton. If during Trump's visit we saw how Charles's wife called out Kate, now another issue between them has come to light. The issue is that Queen Camilla doesn't let Kate use the royal jewelry box. Since Kate took on her new role in the institution, it has become common to see her almost always wearing the same tiara. Some media outlets claim that it's not just that she likes that piece, but that Queen Camilla reserves it as the only option for her. According to some inside sources, Camilla and Kate have always had a tense relationship, but that tension is not limited to her relationship with Kate. Even the Prince of Wales reportedly found her repellent, and she found him the same. A former royal photographer is spilling on what's going on behind the scenes with the royals, and he's alleged that Queen Camilla is not here for Prince William's antics. Ian Pelham-Turner tells a reporter in an interview that he believes Queen Camilla is seeing William trying to create issues, and she's told Charles to stop it. Prince William and his stepmom have a historically strained relationship, and in 2024, royal expert Christopher Anderson said in an interview that William merely tolerates Camilla, who has always been a little afraid of him. The author also said that Camilla needed a gin and tonic after her first time meeting William. William and his brother Harry had always distrusted Camilla and felt resentment toward her because of their devotion to their mother. They never felt comfortable opening up to her in any real way. William and Harry's distrust only grew to new heights when they found out Camilla was leaking stories to the press to make herself look better. With a relationship this tense, it seems plausible that people would point fingers to Camilla in the conspiracy to destroy young Prince George's confidence. Either way, William and Kate are doing their best to prepare for their time on the throne. Do you think the rift between Camilla and the Wales can be bridged? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.